Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. I have a bushel bag of cured sweet potatoes in my pantry, and typically we use those throughout the year, but we didn't have a lot of family and friends over for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I had this bushel left over and I needed to do something with it. So I'm going to dehydrate these. So I had my two biggest stock pots with some water, and I boiled those potatoes until they were tender, and then I took the peelings off, and they're hot, but I cut off the peelings, and I'm going to mash these up to make dehydrated potatoes. And you can use these in recipes. They make great baby food. You can make mashed sweet potatoes. You can even use the mashed sweet potato and make sweet potato flour tortillas. So I just didn't really want this to go to waste, these sweet potatoes, and I knew I had planted some and wanted to get a fresh batch going. So I wanted to dehydrate these and use them in the future. So this one bushel of sweet potatoes, I'm going to dehydrate the whole thing, and it ended up going into 4 quart jars, which is amazing. The amount of space saving is amazing to me when you dehydrate versus canning or putting in the freezer. So I peeled all of the sweet potatoes and I cut them up into big chunks, and then I'm going to mash them. Now I learned all of this watching Dehydrate to Store videos, and I'll link those below, but Tammy Gangloff has an excellent YouTube channel, and I've watched her for years on how to dehydrate food. So I'm just taking a potato masher and I'm mashing the sweet potatoes that I've cooked and peeled and getting them down to a nice consistency. And I love manual tools. I'm really starting to collect manual tools so that I don't have to wash like the processors and all the stuff that I used to use. I just like the manual better now. Okay, so I've got my dehydrator trays ready, and I've got my dehydrator set at 125, and this I learned from watching Tammy's videos. I just took a nice handful of sweet potato mush, and I have some parchment paper underneath and on top, and I just take a rolling pin and kind of roll this out. I would say it was a little less than ½ inch thick, and then I just flop it right on the tray, and it worked great. That is amazing to me that I could flop that right over, but it works. Then I took a pizza cutter and I'm cutting this in strips, which makes it a lot easier to break up after it is dehydrated. And these little strips fit perfectly in a quart jar. So after 12 hours in the dehydrator, it's all done. And this is what it looks like, the little crisp pieces. And you want to make sure that it's nice and crisp and completely dehydrated. And they just peel right off the plastic tray of the Excalibur dehydrator tray. And I just stuff these in jars. It's that easy. And then I put an oxygen absorber in each jar. And these just work great. I can pull out what I need for cooking out of this jar. There's another tray. I did all 9 trays using this technique, and it worked perfectly. Now I have done sweet potatoes in the past where I peel them raw and cut them into 1/4 inch slices, and then you have to boil the slices for a few minutes, but this worked out much easier. It's not all that cutting that you have to do through the hard sweet potato. So now I'm going to show you how to rehydrate those sweet potatoes. I took a bowl and I pulled out just a few of the sweet potato strips, and I boiled about a ½ cup of water in the microwave. And it's so easy to rehydrate these. I just put a few in the bottom of the bowl. And I'm going to pour on the hot water. And you let it sit for probably 10 to 15 minutes. And it will come right back to the same consistency that it was before I dehydrated it. So it's so simple. You just watch and it comes right back to life. Now this is the next step. This was after about 5 minutes, and you can see it starting. The water's turning a color. I did pop it in the microwave for about 45 seconds, and it started it started rehydrating a little quicker. And there's the consistency now, just like it was before. And this was delicious. I hate this whole bowl, but you could use this as baby food. This is instant baby food. This is the Ultimate Dehydrator Cookbook that I was telling you about. Not only does it have ways to dehydrate everything you can absolutely think of, but she's got a ton of recipes, which are all very good. So I highly recommend, if you're getting into dehydrating, that you pick up this book. So I was able to take a big bushel bag out of the pantry and make room and break it down to actually 4 quart jars of potatoes. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Thank you for subscribing, and have a very blessed day.